Now this might be the strangest thing you ever heard. Do you know what will happen to 100 people who start even at the age of 25 and who believe they're going to become successful? By age 65, only 5 out of 100 will make the grade. Why do so many fail? What happened to the sparkle that was in everyone's eyes when they were 25? What became of their dreams, their plans? And why is there such a large disparity between these types of people and what they intended to do and what they actually accomplished? In this video, we're breaking down The Strangest Secret, one of the best-selling programs ever, over 1 million copies sold by Earl Nightingale. I'm Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com. Let's tackle the 7 biggest ideas from one of the greatest success books ever. Number 1, defining success. First, you gotta define success. And the best definition I ever heard is Earl Nightingale in The Strangest Secret. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Success is the school teacher who becomes a school teacher because they want it. Success is the entrepreneur, it's the creative who starts their own movement or company because that was their dream, that's what they wanted to do. Success is the artist who became an artist while everyone else started to conform in their life. Success is the business person or salesperson who went after their dream. A success is anyone who's realizing a worthy, predetermined vision or ideal because they wanted it, deliberately. But only 1 out of 20 does that, says Nightingale, and the rest of us are, quote, failures. Rolla May, the distinguished psychiatrist, wrote a wonderful book. It's called Man's Search for Himself. And in the book, he says the opposite of courage in our society isn't cowardice, it's conformity. You know, you have so many reasons for failure, but we often miss conformity. And we're doing what everyone else wants us to do. We're doing things and we don't know why we're doing it. By 30, we make a living. And by then, we're generally supporting a family as well. But yet, by the time we're 65 years old, we haven't learned how to become financially independent in the richest land that's ever been known. Why? Why does that happen? We conform. Most of us are acting like the wrong percentage group. Like Jim Rohn once said, walk away from the 95%. And you see that 9 out of 10 people die with less than $10,000 and no financial assets. 75% of people said in the Gallup polls that they're actively disengaged from their jobs. What does success mean to you? What does it look like? What's your worthy ideal? You're trading your life away for something because you only have so many hours in the day and you're giving it up for something. So what's your worthy ideal? What is that? That's the first step according to Earl Nightingale. Step number 2, goals. Do you know what will happen to those 100 people who start even at the age of 25 and they believe they're going to be successful? Like we said, only 5 out of 100 actually become so. And why do so many of those people fail? What happened to that vision when they were so young? What became of all of their ambitions? And why do most people settle instead of living the life that they actually intended? According to Earl Nightingale, that's the strangest secret. And some years ago, the late Nobel Peace Prize winning Albert Schweitzer once was asked by a reporter, "Doctor, what's wrong with people today?" And the great doctor looked over and then he said, "Men simply do not think." And that's what Earl Nightingale is talking to us, that this is an era that humanity has looked forward to, dreamed of, and worked toward for thousands of years. We live in the richest era that's ever existed on the face of the earth, an abundant land, the internet, so many opportunities, more money printed every day. However, if you take 100 people and you start them at age 25, what's going to happen? These 100 people all believe that they're going to be successful. They're eager, they're excited, there's that sparkle, there's that excitement in life, and life seems to be interesting to them. But by the time they're 65, not so much. Only 1 will be rich, 4 will be financially independent, and 5 will still be working. 54 will be broke, and depending on the others for life's necessities, which is what's happening. Almost 6 out of 10 people are depending on others at age 65. What happened? What happened? What has happened to all the dreams that they had, all their plans? Why is this occurring? And it's because most people don't have dreams. Did you know that there was actually a study at Harvard where they looked at a small percentage of people who had written goals and they compared them to the 95% of people who didn't. And 10 years later, they came back and the 5% of people had amassed more wealth than the other 95% combined. You know, it's that magic touch. You've heard people say everything that person touches turns to gold. Have you ever noticed that a person who becomes successful tends to continue to be more successful? And on the other hand, you've noticed how someone who's a failure has bad luck. That continues to happen. The difference is goals. People with goals succeed because they know where they're going. It's that simple. Failures, on the other hand, bad luck magnets, believe that their lives are shaped by circumstance, by things that happen to them, by exterior forces. But think of a ship with the complete voyage mapped out and planned across the world. The captain and the crew know exactly where the ship is going and how long it will take. It has a definite goal. And 999 times out of 1,000, they get there. Now let's look at that ship. The captain, the crew, they're all at the helm. And then let's reverse it. Let's pretend that it has no aim, that it has no meaning, that you just start the engine and you let it go and you get it out of the harbor. Eventually, that is probably going to sink. It can't go anyplace because it has no direction, it has no guidance. It's the same thing with the human mind. The human race is fixed, is what Nightingale says, but not so that the strong win, but to prevent the weak from losing. Society today has been dumbed down and distilled to a place where everyone says, well, that person's just lucky. That person gets all the breaks. No. That's not what's happening. One person has a clear vision for their life. We have this plateau of so-called security. And so we just top out. But George Bernard Shaw said it best. The people who get on in this world are the people who look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. You must ask yourself, what do I really want? What do you really want right now? This isn't just a video. Stop and hear me. What do you really want out of your life? Clearly, can you see it? Your mind works in images. When I say think of your refrigerator, think of a pink elephant, think of your car. You see it. You see the image of it on your mind. A visionary. What is a visionary? We idolize them. A visionary is simply someone who lives from their inner vision as opposed to the vision of society. That's what Steve Jobs was. He lived from an inner vision. So what's your vision? The third big idea from The Strangest Secret, we become what we think about. Throughout history, the great wise men and sages and teachers and philosophers and prophets, they've all disagreed on everything, and you see that today. Everyone always disagrees. But there's only one point that pretty much everyone has unanimous agreement on. The key to success and the key to failure is that we become what we think about. This is the strangest secret. Now, why does Nightingale say that it's strange? And why does he call it a secret? Actually, it isn't a secret at all. It's been first thought up by some early wise men, and they thought they were the only ones who had ever thought of it before. And most people today don't get it, because very few people have learned and understood it, and that's why it's strange, and why, for some equally strange reason, it became a secret. Marcus Aurelius, the great emperor, once said that a man's life is what he makes of it. Disraeli said that everything comes to a man if they'll only wait with a clear, settled purpose and focus their mind upon it, staking their entire existence on it. William James said that we need only in cold blood to act as if the thing in question were real. And if we grow with that level of belief and connection, it will become real. So become so tight-knit in your habit and emotion to what you want that you characterize it in who you are, in your own mind. You have to really desire it deeply and not just let it get pushed away. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale put it this way. He said, if you think in negative terms, you're going to get negative results. And if you think in positive terms, you're going to achieve positive results. George Bernard Shaw said that people are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. He said, I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want. If they can't find them, they make them. Well, it's pretty apparent, isn't it? We become what we think about. A person who's thinking about a concrete and worthwhile vision is probably going to reach it, because that's what they're thinking about all the time. Conversely, the person who has no goal, who doesn't know where they're going, whose thoughts must kind of therefore be all over the place, anxiety, fear, worry, they'll become those very things. Their life will mirror that. And if they think about nothing big, chances are they're going to become nothing big. You become what you think about. Think about that. Think about that. Just think about when you thought there was a monster under your bed, and immediately what happened is your nervous system reacted to the thought. You had a chemical reaction in your brain. Your hands were sweaty. Your heart was beating. The same thing when someone thinks someone's cheating on them when they're not. The monster wasn't actually real, but you had a chemical reaction to it when you were a kid. Or you thought someone was cheating on you, but they actually weren't. You thought you were going to get fired from your job. You were anticipating something bad happening, and you responded chemically to that thought. You truly become what you think about. So if you can do that for the worst things, I'm not good enough, this person will probably say no if I ask them out, I can't make more money, I'm not smart enough. What's happening? Every thought, chemical reaction. It's sending electrical impulses through our nervous system to create our emotions. But take a step back. If you can do that for the negative, you can do that for the positive. You truly become what you think about, so think big. Now here's Earl Nightingale's fourth big idea. As ye sow, so shall ye reap. The human mind is kind of like the farmer's land. The land gives the farmer a choice. He can plant that land, whatever he chooses, and the land doesn't care what's planted. It's up to the farmer to make the decision. And the mind, just like the land, will return whatever it is that you plant. But it doesn't care what you plant. If the farmer plants 2 seeds, one a seed of corn and the other nightshade, a deadly poison, waters and takes care of the land, what will happen? Remember, the land doesn't care. It will return poison in just as wonderful abundance as corn. So up to 2 plants, 1 corn, 1 poison, just like it's written in the Bible, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. The human mind is much more fertile and way more mysterious than the land, but it doesn't work all that different. A concrete, worthwhile seed planted into your own mind will slowly start to manifest itself. Over time, all that's within will show itself without. The father of psychology, of modern psychology, William James, once said that if a man understood his subconscious mind and the thoughts that were dwelling in it, he could turn over the world. Everything that's worthwhile in our lives came to us free. From our minds, from our souls, from our bodies, from our hopes, from our dreams, from our ambitions, from our love, from our family, from our friends, from the nature all around us. And these possessions are free. But we're always so focused on all the things outside of ourselves that we neglect the real power in here. But if you can take a step back and say, what have I been planting? What have I been planting when someone says, I don't understand why this keeps showing up in my life? You're planting it. You might be going to work hard. You might be doing the job. But in the back of your mind, your expectancy at all times is that this won't work out. That I might not have what it takes within me. So Nightingale says, if you want to get rich, all you've got to do is plant the seed in your mind, care for it, work steadily toward your goal, and it will become a reality. It's not only that it will, there's no way that it can't. You see, it's a law. Like Sir Isaac Newton had the laws of gravity. If you get on the top of a building and you jump off, you're always going down. You'll never go up. And it's the same with all the other laws of nature. They always work. They're inflexible. Think about your goal in a relaxed, positive way. Picture yourself in your mind's eye as having already achieved this goal. See yourself doing the things you will be doing when you reach that goal. Evoke the emotion. Every one of us is the sum total of all of our thoughts. We are exactly where we are because we think or feel that we deserve to be there, whether we'll admit it or not. Each of us must live off the fruit of our thoughts, so we might as well start to harvest and plant some things that will actually get us to where we want to go. Big idea number 5. This is where it gets interesting. 30-day challenge. Part 1. Put your vision on an index card. So for the next 30 days, follow each of these steps until you've achieved your goal or you're on the right direction. So number 1, write on a card what it is that you want, your real vision. It may be more money, perhaps you like to double your income, or you have a specific amount in mind. It may be a beautiful home, it may be to start your dream business. Make sure that it's something that you really desire. Write it down specifically. See it in your mind, write it on a card, and make sure that it's a clearly defined vision. Not vague, clearly defined. And then you don't need to show it to anyone, but carry it with you everywhere that you go. Carry it with you. You don't need to show it to anyone. Just let yourself suggest it. Every morning you can read it. Every night you can read it out loud. And just like you would carry around a phone, or just like when you're listening to music in the car, what happens? A song gets played on repeat in your head and it starts to program in. Well, that's what we're doing with your vision. We're going to program it into your mind. Because when you do that, it can be yours. In fact, it's really yours the moment you begin to write it down and you begin to think about it and make it an all-consuming part of who you are. So step number 1, write it down. Number 6, part 2 of the 30-day challenge. Stop thinking about what you fear. Each time a fearful or a negative thought comes into your mind, replace it with a mental picture of your worthwhile goal that you wrote on the card. Say it out loud, say it to yourself, and then there's going to come a time when you feel like giving up. But that's when you repeat it, because it's easier for us to get sucked in negatively than it is for us to be positive. Remember, only about 5% of people actually create what they want. Act as if it's impossible for you to fail. No matter what your goal is, if you've kept your goal in your mind every day, it'll slowly start to reveal itself. That's when magic happens, because it seeps in subconsciously. So every time you feel fear or negativity, pull out your card and repeat your statement a few times. Get your image and your mind refocused on what you're creating. Part 7, 30-day challenge, part 3. Serve people wholeheartedly for the next 30 days. Your success is always going to be measured by the quality and quantity of the service you render, right? Most people will tell you that they want to make more money, but they want to actually give less service. The only people who make more money at all are in the mint. You have to earn money. And that's what causes most people to fail. They're looking for a free ride. Success is not the result of making money. Earning money is the result of success. And success is in direct proportion to the service. Most people have this law backwards. It's like a man who stands in front of the stove and says to the stove, "Give me heat and then I'll add the wood." How many men and women do you know, or do you suppose, that are out there today who take the same attitude towards life? There's millions and millions of them. We've got to put the fuel in first before we can expect heat. And likewise, you got to provide the service, and then the money will come. Don't concern yourself with the money. Be of service. Do this and you'll find that there's really no limit to what you can actually attract into your life. Don't start your test until you've made up your mind that you're actually going to stick with it. Because this is going to take 30 days to start to reprogram your mind and eliminate the negative thoughts. So, get your mind focused there. Gradually, your new habit is going to form. And then you're going to find yourself in this whole new wonderful world that you actually didn't know you could be in, because you've developed a new habit. Worry brings fear, and fear is crippling. So every time we're in fear, we take a step back. We reconnect to the service that we're providing to the world. Know that that's all you have to do. Start to take on the real 30-day challenge. Each time you do it, when you finish, redo the 30-day challenge again. Heck, carry your index card with you everywhere you go. When I go to the Stairmaster at the gym, I just place it right on the Stairmaster and I just read it and I read it. And sometimes it falls off and people pick it up and they say, "What's that?" I say, "Well, it's the vision for my life." So I put it on an affirmation card and I read it all day, every day. And everyone says, "Well, I should try that." So be that person. Okay, in this video, we talked about the 7 big ideas from one of the best-selling books and audio recordings ever in the personal development industry, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. You got some really awesome takeaways in this. Now, what's gonna happen is 95% of the people who watch this video are quite simply gonna say, "That was great," if you even made it to the end, but you're not actually gonna do it. You're not actually gonna go pull out an index card out of your office or out of your kitchen, or you're not actually gonna drive to CVS and get one, and you're not actually gonna write out the vision for your life. Now, I've been doing this for 8 years, since I was a college dropout with a dream to be publishing books. I wrote my vision that I was a world-renowned author, inspiring people from all over the world, getting paid to inspire people. 7, 8 years later, I'm publishing with the #1 publisher in the world, Penguin Random House. These videos will reach people from all over the world, and I built a business, a great business that fulfills me. And it all started with a vision. It all started with taking my card. Everyone laughed, everyone thought I was crazy, but I've instilled in my subconscious mind the vision that I want, and as you sow, so shall you reap. So I'm Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com. Be sure you hit the subscribe button. Below, I've got my free success hypnosis. It's a free MP3 download that you can get immediately, jakeshypnosis.com, but it's linked right there. And you can start to listen to that to program your subconscious mind for success. It works like crazy. So comment in your favorite part. Be sure to write out your index card. That's the big takeaway from this video. You can even email me, jake@jakeducey.com, and send me a picture of it. Subscribe, check the free hypnosis out. Have a great day. Can't wait to see your index card. See you on the next video.